Hey, look, it's this week's comics, and we're back. Had a little bit of a delay there, guys. That's not delay, a little bit of a break. You know, we had a massive heat wave, and I had a 51st birthday, so I just gave myself a little bit of a break. We'll start things off this week with the Flash Annual. This will be the wrapping up of the Wally West story, the continual redemption from Heroes in Crisis. Last we heard from Wally as far as this incident in Heroes in Crisis is concerned, during Death Metal, we learned that it was the Reverse Flash that was sort of hypnotizing him into doing dumb things like framing other people for the bizarre and stupid deaths that occurred in Heroes in Crisis, when we learned, with big quotes around learned, that it turns out the whole time Wally's been holding back explosive power that could kill everybody around him, which just isn't the Flash. I hope they find a way in this issue to completely remove all that. It's the only thing that Tom King wrote that I completely despise. So I'm super looking forward to reading this. It's been a really good read overall. Flash traveling through time, ending up with the bodies of other speedsters, trying to fix something that's wrong with the Speed Force. He was about to retire, and this seems like the culmination of the entire storyline, the end of it all, where Wally ends up in his own body in his most tragic moment. How will things be fixed? Read it and find out. This is first of my read list this week, which is also why it's the first of my pile, and I'm going to even put it right over there because it's the first thing I read when I'm done all this. Next up, we got Action Comics Annual. This is all about following up from the Future State storyline, where we've got the descendants of Superman. There he is right there, I do believe, old beardy Superman. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I don't really know anything else about it other than it has to do with the Future State stuff, which I really enjoyed. And I'm weirded out by how much the Future State stuff is coming to fruition right now, because I didn't think it was going to go that way, but I'm oddly enjoying it. Next up, we got Infinite Frontier, a series I'm completely enjoying the bejesus out of. This is the kind of stuff that's right up my alley. I love the DC multiverse. They got Captain Carrot in it, and they got this cool little team. What are they called? The Infinity or something? This little group of heroes that's dealing with the multiverse as it stands, or the omniverse now, as they call it. You got Captain Carrot and President Superman and Barry Allen and all these cool characters from Justice Incarnate. Love it, love it, love it. Can't wait to read this. Oh, and I'd talk more about it, but too many spoilers. Maybe I'll do a little special review of Infinite Frontier as it stands. Next up, we got Wonder Woman, a comic that I perpetually go on about how great the primary story is in the back, how boring the backup story is. I'm finally remembering the backup story of young Diana. It really does meander. I'm getting into it more and more. The last couple issues put a little meat in the bones, so I'm glad I'm finally enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it nearly as much as the primary story. And this one, the main story is really picking up pace, where we're sort of finding out why Diana has been flung throughout the cosmos. She has her memory back. It should be real neat to see what's going on with this one. Last issue we learned, spoiler alert if you're not up to date, that Olympus is destroyed yet again. I'm so tired of both Marvel and DC always destroying Olympus. It's sort of like the Guardians of O and the Green Lanterns. Like, okay, every other writer seems to come along and think, I know what we should do. We should destroy Oa or destroy the Olympians. Like, nobody's ever thought of that before. I got an idea, guys. How about not? How about just coming up with an actual original storyline that involved Olympians that's not, they're all dead. Ugh. And I'm actually enjoying it. I'm just tired of that rehash of the same story over and over again. Next up, we got one of my favorite comics in the stands, Batman Urban Legends. This great anthology series. The primary story in it is Batman and the Red Hood. And the second story in it, the secondary story that's been going on from the first issue, is the Grifter comic. And spoiler alert, that's not much of a spoiler alert, this issue features the first appearance of an in-continuity, in DC Universe continuity, Wildcats. I've flicked through this a little bit, and I've seen the new take on Wildcats, and they're, well, wild. I don't want to spoil anything because it's a really unique take that I really dig, and I can't wait to actually read this. It's really, honest to God, one of the best comics on the market right now. It's a great anthology book with 4 stories per comic. I think it's $7.99, so it's bang for your buck, and it's brilliant. Next up, we got Rorschach, a comic that I just love, love, love. The more I read this, the more I love it. It so speaks to our times right now and how easily duped into stupid crap Some people are, especially when it comes to conspiracy theory and nonsense. And maybe I shouldn't say easily duped, because that's kind of the crux of this story. It does actually paint more of a fair picture of people who do get duped by conspiracy theory, because we do live in suspicious and trying times, and we all need to be a little bit more understanding of one another. And I think the comic Rorschach actually really helps us understand the other side, why people fall for things, why people believe in things. And the joy of this comic is we, the reader, if you're really into your Watchmen lore, we know what's going on. So it makes us even more sympathetic towards the characters in the book that have no clue that get sucked into this nonsense. Next up, we got Skybound X #2. The first issue was a lot of fun, kind of silly even, because seriously, we've got Rick Grimes 2000. Yes, it's a bionic hand, lightsaber wielding Wick Grimes. He may as well be Wick Wimes. First issue was a lot of fun. Silly to a degree, but a lot of fun. And if you're a fan of the Skybound works, it's really quite a bit of fun. I think I just said fun like 25 times. Issue 1 brought, I can't think of the kid's name now. The Walking Dead comic book character, Clarence. The kid, anyways, from the Walking Dead video games is finally in the comics, and they're actually going to be putting in a series with her in it too. I can't wait. Next up, finally, it came out. The Lev Gleason Presents comic. Lev Gleason Presents is essentially Chapter House, what's left of Chapter House, or now they're calling it Comic House. The Captain Canuck universe. They're getting into some public domain characters with this, the Silver Streak, and you can see right here, they even have a reprint of one of the original Silver Streak comics. One of the things I've always found very interesting about Silver Streak is he's one of the original Super Speed characters, and the original version didn't have any silver in the costume. I love old, weird, golden age public domain characters. But as often is the case with Chapter House stuff, or Lev Gleason as it is now, or Comic House, they put out all their books in the same week. So issue 1 and 2 are out. And as you can see featured in this one, we've got the original Daredevil, one of the best costumes of all time. And I guess there's also a backup tale as well for the original Daredevil. I can't wait to read this. Very, very excited about it. The only Marvel book I have for the week is the current trade for the History of the Marvel Universe. The first one was one of those oversized ones that I actually had a copy of it. I ordered, but I gave it to someone at the store because they wanted it more than me. And I'm fine with settling for a smaller, more regular size copy. I can't wait to read this. I love Mark Waid. He has such a great conceptualization of the Marvel Universe. The issues that I flicked through looked fantastic, so I'm really, really excited about this. So as far as only having one Marvel book for the week, this is a pretty damn good Marvel book to have. And yeah, the art looks absolutely fantastic too by this Javier Rodriguez fella. Looks wicked. Can't wait. And next up, a book. I have no idea why I ordered this. Obviously, it caught my eyes. I like Steve Niles. It's probably just because I like Steve Niles. And I don't know a damn thing about this. And that's one of the best ways to go into a comic book. It's got a cool little embossed cover. I don't know if you can see that in the light there at all. A little bit of a hint there. A little bit of embossing going on there. And I don't know anything about it, so there you go. It looks cool. Hey, let's take a little flick-see through. Why don't we just look a little through it to see what the arts look like? Because this is the first time I've seen it too. Looks great. Can't wait. And next up, the other Comic House, Chapter House, Captain Canuck book. This is Captain Canuck Year Zero, I think it's called. Chapter 0, Season 0. Getting into the origins of the current Captain Canuck. Can't wait to read it. It'll probably take me forever. Then we got another one of the Future State collections. This is the Batman Dark Detective one that also, I believe, collects Robin Eternal. These have been tremendous volumes. Really thick. I like the way they look. It's a great way to get all the Future State stuff that's a little pricier now, I've noticed. And I'm probably going to sell all my singles of this stuff pretty soon. And then, last but not least, the Sweet Tooth Compendium. Now, this came out a little while ago. Just took me a little while to get a hold of it because we had to, at Taz, order it through Penguin. We don't have an account yet, so we had to do it through our good pal, Len. So I can't wait to read this. The big question is, do I read this before watching the show? I probably will, because it's probably going to take a while for us to get to the show. I've heard a little bit of mixed things, but mostly good things about the show, so I can't wait. And then a little shout out to one of the birthday presents I got. The Flash, The Death of Iris West hardcover. This thing, man, was the comic that changed my life. This is the story where Iris West dies. It's it says right there, the death of Iris West. This was a completely different thing to have happened in a mainstream comic book where the lead supporting character and romantic interest, the wife of the Flash, was murdered. This is the storyline that gets us to who killed her. Flash gets framed in this. He gets spiked with angel dust. This comic completely changed my life as a young man because I didn't think things like this could happen as a kid. When Iris died, it completely blew my mind and changed my perspective of what comics could be like. I'm thrilled they put this thing out. This is probably one of the earliest long-form stories because this is quite a reasonably thick volume, and this is all one story. This is Iris gets killed and who killed her. And I don't even know that originally the idea was that she was going to come back. I mean, we do know that Iris came back eventually because she actually, one of the most absurd things about the origin of Iris West is it turned out that she was from the future, that her parents were actually from the future and they sent her back in time to protect her or some kind of nonsense. I completely forget why that was. So her death wasn't actually her death because her mind was projected into her consciousness was projected into the future in a body that was preserved for her, some kind of crap like that. Yeah. So big thanks to Keith from Taz for giving this to me for my birthday. I've taken a gander through it. It's a tremendous volume. And there you have it. This week's comics. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next time.